In this lesson, we're going to be looking at frames. What are frames? How to insert pictures. The first thing we're going to need is an explanation of what a frame is. A frame in Adobe works the same as in real world. You buy a picture frame and then you have a picture you want to display. So you have to put the picture in the picture frame. And it's the exact same in this. So you need to create your own frames first. This box over here, the rectangle with the X through it, is your frame tool. To do that, it's the same as making a text box. You click and drag and you make a frame. And if you want to make a perfect square, you hold Shift and you make a nice little square. You can move it around the same as a text box. We'll put it in somewhere that makes sense for a minute, which is in line with the boxes. Try to make sure everything is in line, and then you can adjust it, pulling it out or pulling it, down. You'll see the X. This basically indicates that whatever this shape is a frame that you put pictures in. What you want to do to insert an image to this is have the thing selected and then go to import file on the right, and then you can pick any pictures. So here's a picture of the MET, for instance, and what you'll notice is that it's not the picture. It's not what you thought it would look like because it doesn't automatically size it to the frame. So we're going to zoom out, double click on the frame, and you'll see this big orange line appears. This is the image, and it's like the frame is a window to that. To perfectly keep the scale, the everything about the image the same, we're going to hold Shift as we drag it in using the little handlebars from the top left corner and the top right corner. And you can see now it's starting to look a bit more what it's actually meant to look like. So we're going to bring it in a bit more. And so we're just going to leave it a bit bigger than the actual frame. So then you're thinking, well, it's a square image. Let's make it a square frame. Let's say you've already got this rectangle frame, however, and you just want to drag it down. Right, you can do that, or you can do it a bit more specifically. If you click off it, right, and then click back on it, you'll select the frame. If you double click the frame, you'll select the image within it. If you double click after that, you'll select the frame again. So changing the size of the frame, and up here you can see its width, its W, is 104.4, and that's the size of the two columns that we want it to fit within. So then if we change the height to the same number, 101.4, it now drags out a little bit at the bottom, and we can just move it around to make sure that it is actually lined up. Let's say it's lined up with the text box. You've got this white space now, which is not filled by the image in the frame. Just double click the image and drag it down. Then you can use the arrow keys to nudge it along if you want to, and you might decide that you want to resize it. You want to make the subjects a bit bigger, so you would just use the handlebars. Pressing Shift as you're moving the handlebars keeps the scale. If you don't, you'll do like that, and it's funny and terrifying that picture of me, Holly and Chloe, is stretched, but ultimately it's nothing. So again, that's just single click to select the frame, double click to select the image, double click again to select the frame, and that's the basics of how to use images. The only other thing you need to keep in mind is text wrapping your image. Select it, text wrap. What you want is to use the bounding box, because I'll show you if it's got no text wrap, as on Word, it doesn't text wrap anything. If you bound box it, it does this. It's at this point that you want to make sure that your text box does not have the hyphenate on it. Just put this back and you're all set.
Promo code when you download Walking Slush in the bruh store.